Welcome back, viewers. In this video, we will be showing in two simple ways that 0 factorial is equals to 1. In two simple ways, we will be establishing that 0 factorial is equals to 1. Now, we will be looking at method 1. Now, in this particular method 1, we will be looking at patterns. And let's start with 4 factorial, for instance. 4 factorial is simply 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and that gives us 24. We will also look at 3 factorial, which is 3 times 2 times 1, and this gives number 6. 2 factorial is 2 times 1, and this gives 2. And then 1 factorial is equals to 1. Now, the big question is, what is 0 factorial? And that is a question mark. Now, let's look at the patterns. In going from 24 to 6, what happens? We divide by 4. We can see 4 clearly written here. In going from 6 to 2, what happens? We divide by 3. And then in going from 2 to 1, what happens? We divide by 2. Now, clearly, in going from 1 to the next value, we will be dividing by 1 based on the consistent pattern. And when we divide 1 by 1, we get 1. Therefore, it is clear from the patterns in these factorials that 0 factorial is equals to 1. So we have established from the patterns in method 1 that 0 factorial is equals to 1. Let's take a look at this next method. So we will be looking at method 2. Let's look at this particular expression once again, which is 4 factorial. And like we know, it is equals to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. We start with 4. We go down one step until we get to 1. So we start with 4 and then we end with 1. And when we say 4 factorial, we're saying 4 times 3, which is 12, 12 times 2, which is 24, and 24 times 1, and that gives us 24. So 4 factorial is equals to 24. Now we know that we can also express 4 factorial as 4 times 3 factorial. So what we have here, we have this 4, and then we also bring it down here, which is also the same as 4. And then the whole of this expression, 3 times 2 times 1, is the same as 3 factorial. And that's why we have it here as 3 factorial. So 4 factorial is the same as 4 times 3 factorial, as we have clearly depicted in this particular video. And that is equals to 24. So all we have succeeded in doing is to rearrange the expression, which has the same end result. Now we can generalize this to say that n factorial is the same as n times n minus 1 factorial. N factorial is equals to n times n minus 1 factorial, and we have clearly demonstrated that above. Now let's say n is equals to 1. If n is equals to 1, if we substitute it here, n is equals to 1, it gives us the expression 1 factorial is equals to 1 times bracket open 1 minus 1 bracket close all factorial. Now let's look at it again. We say that n factorial is equals to n times n minus 1 factorial, and we say let n be equals to 1, and that gives us 1 factorial is equals to 1 into 1 minus 1 factorial, and that gives us 1 is equals to 1 times 0 factorial. Remember that 1 factorial is equals to 1. So we have our 1 here, which is the same as the 1 here, and then 1 minus 1 is 0, and that's why we have 0 factorial. So if we simplify that further, we have 0 factorial on the right hand side, because 1 times 0 factorial will be 0 factorial, and on the left hand side we have our 1. So 1 is equals to 0 factorial, which implies that 0 factorial is equals to 1. So using the same method 1, we get that 0 factorial is equals to 1, and using method 2, we have been able to establish also that 0 factorial is equals to 1. Thank you for watching this video. If you have gained any form of value from this video, kindly subscribe, like, and share. You can also see below certain other videos that relate to factorials. Do well to watch and enjoy them. Thank you.